Hello, and welcome to my Learning Disabilities Part 3 screencast. Reading and Lesson Plan. Struggling readers. 1 in 5 students is likely to have trouble reading. 80% of students who are in special education will have problems in reading. Students can be diagnosed as young as age 5. Signs of children who will have trouble reading in the future. Children who have late or delayed speech at age 2. Children who are difficult to understand when they speak, and children who don't know the names of common items and have trouble recalling known information. A balanced literacy program has systematic vocabulary development, reading to children, sustained silent reading, modeling of writing skills and techniques, and phonemic awareness training. Phonemic awareness is the understanding that spoken words and syllables are made up of sequences of speech sounds and that it is possible to isolate these sounds. Children with phonemic processing problems may have trouble with sounding out words when reading out loud, separating words into smaller sounds, and learning to spell new words. Teaching reading to students with learning disabilities. Step 1. Convince the child that you can teach them to read. Step 2. Discuss what kind of rewards the child likes. Step 3. Determine the knowledge that the child does and does not have. Step 4. Use a test to determine the level of word recognition. Step 5. Determine if the child can blend sounds into words they have never seen before. Step 6. Listen to the child read independently. Step 7. Analyze the data. And Step 8. Make a plan. Word walls. It is a visual index and motivator for the students. You must do a daily review and add words throughout the year. Once the students master one sound, such as short A, you may begin to add another skill, such as the short O sounds. Word families and word clumps. Introduce the concept that when we spell, not every word is a new word. Hang charts with rhyming words because some words can have the same vowel sounds, so seeing the words side by side will assist in the decoding process. Emerging readers. Students should read 3 times a day to an adult in 10-minute sessions. Introduce the concept of a silent E, and do daily decoding practices. A lesson plan for teaching reading skills. One lesson would be to see mental images of words, such as visualization and verbalization. The main skill and goal that you want to achieve is to have students draw a picture based off of a short story that they read. Written expression and lesson plans. Writing, spelling, and speaking. Spelling refers to a student's ability to create words that are grammatically correct. Assessing speech is often a teacher's first step to assess a student's spelling and writing. Poor handwriting skills is often one of the first signs of problems with motor skills. Ways to assist students with spelling. It may be useful for students to have their own word dictionaries. Spelling activities can be implemented once the students can recognize at least 15 letters in the alphabet. A digital reader can help students find their spelling mistakes so they can correct them in the future. Spelling methods. Step 1 is to say the word. Have the students repeat the word. Spell the word. Ask students to repeat the spelling. Have students watch your mouth. Have students repeat the phrase. An example would be T-H-E says thee. Have students write the word 3 times as they say the letters, and have students close their eyes and put their fingers in their ears while they spell the word out loud to avoid distractions. How to teach handwriting. One of the first steps of teaching handwriting skills is having the student trace the letter given to them. Sometimes this includes following the arrows. Once they trace the letter, they can move to tracing the letter by following the dotted lines. When the previous skill is mastered, students can move on to writing the letters themselves while looking at an example, and eventually they won't need the example there anymore. Mechanics of writing for older students with learning disabilities. One way to make students aware of the necessity of spaces between words is to use a red block that they must place in between each word as they write. Once the students are writing at a 2.0 level, it is important to teach them to proofread. This includes learning to analyze a sentence, learning to write paragraphs, and when you do that, discuss the word indent, and letter writing, emails, reports, and journal writing. An example of a lesson plan would be, students will be able to write a proper letter. They will know how to address and date a letter, and they will be able to write paragraphs and have the proper headings. Mathematics and lesson plans. Lack of readiness. Students may not have the required skills necessary to begin learning math. Some students do not have the privilege of going to a preschool and learning such things like shapes and sizes. You may need to backtrack a bit and teach these things to students who have IEPs saying that their mental age is lower than their actual age. Visual perceptual deficits. Students may have difficulty writing numbers, sometimes reversing them. They may not grasp the meaning of set or group, and students may not be able to count without physically moving and manipulative. Poor spatial sense and memory. Some students have difficulty understanding the concepts of things such as over, under, less, and more. Some students have problems memorizing facts, are seen counting on their fingers, and score below the 10th percentile on the memory assessment. Assistive technology can be given, such as a calculator or a table chart, to these students who have memory problems. Purpose of assessments. This helps the teacher identify what skills the students know and which ones they still need to learn. It is useful to watch the students take the test to see how they arrive at their final answer. And when a student misses a problem, assigning 2 or more similar problems may help you find out the exact issue they are having. When the test is done, it is important to analyze the missed problems and to teach those required skills. Levels of understanding. There are 3 levels of understanding in math. Concrete, they have a physical understanding, such as being able to move objects to represent fractions. Representational, they can do math on a pictorial level where they look at symbols and pictures. And the abstract level, where students can do math manipulations in their head. An example of a math lesson plan would be to identify and count coins. The end game that you would want for students is that they would be able to add the coins up so they could create change or know how much something costs.